The sun shone brightly over Umuahia as Chukwudi and Amaka exchanged vows in a modest village ceremony. Amaka, a quiet and humble woman, wore a simple dress made by her mother, while Chukwudi borrowed a suit from his cousin. Their love was palpable despite their poverty, drawing the admiration of friends and family who gathered to celebrate. As the couple looked into each other's eyes, they promised to face life's challenges together, no matter how tough things became. After the ceremony, the new couple returned to Chukwudi's small hut on the outskirts of the village. It was barely large enough for two people, with a leaking thatched roof and a single wooden bed. Amaka, unbothered by the humble dwelling, began cleaning and rearranging to make it feel like home. "As long as we're together, we'll be fine," she told Chukwudi with a reassuring smile. That night, they sat under the stars, dreaming of a better future. "One day, Amaka, I'll give you a better life," Chukwudi said earnestly. Amaka, ever supportive, nodded. "I believe you, my husband. We'll make it together." Little did they know the journey ahead would test their love and resilience in ways they could not imagine. Life in the village was anything but easy for Chukwudi and Amaka. Their farmland, inherited from Chukwudi's father, was dry and unyielding. Each morning they rose before dawn, hoeing the soil and planting crops in hopes of a decent harvest. By midday, the scorching sun forced them to pause, their hands blistered and their clothes drenched in sweat. Despite their efforts, the farm produced little. The rains were unpredictable, and pests often ruined what little they managed to grow. Meals were scarce, and many nights they went to bed with empty stomachs. Amaka's resourcefulness helped stretch their meager resources, but it was never enough. "Amaka, I hate seeing you suffer like this," Chukwudi confessed one evening as they shared a bowl of watery porridge. "I wish I could do more." "You're doing your best," Amaka replied softly. "We'll get through this together." Chukwudi couldn't shake his guilt. His father had always told him that a man must provide for his family, and he felt he was failing. Determined to find a solution, he began looking for opportunities beyond the village, setting in motion a chain of events that would change their lives forever. One afternoon, while tending to their failing crops, Chukwudi met a traveling merchant named Chief Okeke. The merchant, who was passing through the village, stopped to buy some cassava. Noticing Chukwudi's desperation, Chief Okeke struck up a conversation. "You seem like a hard-working man," the merchant said. "Why don't you try your luck in the city? There are better opportunities there." Chukwudi hesitated. The city felt like a distant dream, a place where only the wealthy thrived. But the idea lingered in his mind. That evening, he shared the conversation with Amaka. "The city," Amaka repeated, her voice tinged with worry. "What about the farm?" "The farm isn't enough," Chukwudi admitted. "We're barely surviving. If I can succeed in the city, I'll come back for you, and we'll live a better life." Amaka, though reluctant, saw the determination in her husband's eyes. "If you believe this is the way forward, I'll support you," she said, her heart heavy with the thought of being left behind. Over the next few weeks, Chukwudi began saving small amounts of money and preparing for his journey. His departure marked the beginning of their separation and the start of a new chapter in their lives. When Chukwudi arrived in Lagos, he was overwhelmed by the city's chaos. The noise, the crowds, and the towering buildings made him feel insignificant. He rented a small room in a crowded slum and began searching for work. Jobs were scarce, and Chukwudi faced rejection after rejection. He spent days wandering the streets, offering his labor to anyone who would listen. At night, he returned to his room, exhausted and discouraged. However, he refused to give up. His dreams of a better life for Amaka kept him going. One day, he stumbled upon an opportunity to deliver goods for a local trader. Though the pay was meager, it was a start. Chukwudi sent his first earnings back to Amaka, along with a letter. "It's hard here, but I'm making progress," he wrote. "Hold on for me, my love. Our time will come." Amaka's faith in her husband remained unshaken. She prayed daily for his success, unaware of how their lives would soon transform. Months passed, and Chukwudi's dedication began to pay off. The local trader he worked for noticed his hard work and honesty, promoting him to oversee more deliveries. With higher earnings, Chukwudi saved enough to start a small trade of his own. He ventured into selling yams, palm oil, and cassava, traveling to villages and bringing the produce back to Lagos for resale. His network grew, and soon he was earning significant profits. Chukwudi wrote to Amaka more frequently, sharing his progress. "I'm building something good," he wrote. "Soon I'll bring you here, and we'll live like kings and queens." Amaka's joy was boundless as she imagined their future together. As Chukwudi's business grew, so did his influence. He began attending city events, mingling with politicians and businessmen. Wealth brought him confidence, and soon he traded his humble clothing for tailored suits. Though he remained kind-hearted, Chukwudi was no longer the simple farmer Amaka knew. He had built a name for himself in Lagos, and the city's temptations began to call. His letters to Amaka became less frequent, though he still sent money to her regularly. In his newfound status, Chukwudi caught the attention of many women. Among them was Nnenna, a stunning city girl with a sharp wit and undeniable charm. At a business dinner, Chukwudi met Nnenna. She was sophisticated, confident, and everything the city represented to him. Nnenna was instantly drawn to his success and charm. Their conversations flowed easily, and Chukwudi was captivated by her poise. He found himself spending more time with her, ignoring the little voice in his head that reminded him of Amaka. Nnenna saw Chukwudi as her ticket to a life of luxury, and she played her cards well. Within months, Chukwudi proposed to her, rationalizing his decision by telling himself he could balance his love for both women. When Amaka received the news of Chukwudi's second marriage, her heart shattered. She had spent years praying and hoping for his return, only to learn he had chosen another woman. Though devastated, Amaka chose not to confront him. "If this is what makes him happy, I will endure it," she told herself. But her nights were filled with silent tears. In the city, Chukwudi tried to justify his actions. "Amaka is my rock, but Nnenna completes my new life," he told himself. He believed he could manage both relationships without conflict, unaware of the storm brewing ahead. Chukwudi decided to introduce Nnenna to the village. When they arrived, Nnenna's disdain for the simplicity of village life was evident. She openly criticized the huts, the food, and even the people. Amaka welcomed her with grace despite the pain in her heart. She cooked and served meals, only for Nnenna to turn up her nose at the local dishes. Chukwudi, oblivious to the tension, tried to mediate. "She's adjusting," he told Amaka. But Amaka saw the truth. Nnenna had no respect for her or their life. Back in Lagos, the tension between the wives deepened. Nnenna despised Amaka's simplicity and felt threatened by her history with Chukwudi. She often spoke ill of Amaka, trying to poison Chukwudi's mind against her. "She's holding you back," Nnenna would say. "You've grown beyond her." Chukwudi, unwilling to hurt either wife, dismissed her comments. Amaka, meanwhile, remained patient, but she could feel the cold war Nnenna had declared. Though she lived miles away, Nnenna's influence seeped into her life, making her uneasy. Nnenna's jealousy grew with time. She noticed how Chukwudi's tone softened when he spoke of Amaka, and it enraged her. She began plotting ways to turn Chukwudi fully against his first wife. One day, while Chukwudi was away, Nnenna found a stack of old letters he had written to Amaka. The words of love and promises enraged her further. "She doesn't deserve him," Nnenna muttered. Her envy began to consume her, clouding her judgment and leading her down a dangerous path. Chukwudi remained blind to the brewing conflict between his wives. Focused on expanding his business, he spent little time at home, leaving Nnenna and Amaka to sort out their differences. When he did visit the village, Amaka avoided speaking ill of Nnenna, believing it would only create more tension. Meanwhile, Nnenna put on a facade, acting polite in Chukwudi's presence while secretly scheming. Chukwudi's failure to address the situation allowed the tension to fester, setting the stage for the tragedy that would follow. One evening, Nnenna decided she'd had enough. Convinced that Amaka was a threat to her happiness, she concocted a sinister plan to eliminate her rival. She prepared a meal and laced it with poison, intending for Amaka and her son, Chibuzo, to eat it. With a feigned smile, she sent the food to the village, pretending it was a gesture of goodwill. When the meal arrived, Amaka hesitated to eat it, sensing something was off. Chibuzo, however, eagerly took a bite. Moments later, he collapsed. As news of Chibuzo's death reached Lagos, Nnenna's guilt overwhelmed her. She confessed to Chukwudi, revealing her jealousy-fueled act. Consumed by remorse, she took her own life, leaving Chukwudi shattered by the loss of his son and second wife. Chukwudi was inconsolable. The loss of Chibuzo, his only son, struck him like a thunderbolt. Amaka, though deeply hurt, stood by her husband, sharing in his grief. Chukwudi spent days locked in his room, replaying Nnenna's confession in his mind. He could hardly believe the woman he had once admired could be capable of such evil. Her suicide only deepened his pain, leaving him burdened with unanswered questions and guilt. Amaka, with quiet strength, tried to comfort him. "We can overcome this," she whispered one night, though her own heart was heavy. She had lost her son and still bore the scars of Nnenna's envy. Yet she chose forgiveness over bitterness. Chibuzo's burial was a somber event. Villagers gathered to mourn with Amaka and Chukwudi, their hearts filled with sorrow for the couple. Whispers of Nnenna's actions spread quickly, and many blamed Chukwudi for bringing chaos into his home. "Why did he bring a second wife?" they murmured. "Wasn't Amaka enough?" Chukwudi remained silent, unable to defend himself. He knew their words held truth. His decisions had set the tragedy in motion, and the guilt threatened to consume him. Amaka, despite her own pain, asked the villagers to let Chukwudi mourn in peace. Her grace and resilience earned their respect, even as they pitied her loss. As days turned into weeks, Chukwudi began to reflect on his choices. He realized he had allowed ambition and vanity to cloud his judgment, neglecting the woman who had stood by him during his lowest moments. Sitting under the mango tree near his childhood home, Chukwudi broke down. "I failed you, Amaka," he confessed one evening, tears streaming down his face. "I failed our son." Amaka placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. "We can't change the past, Chukwudi," she said softly. "But we can choose to heal and honor Chibuzo's memory by living better lives." Determined to make amends, Chukwudi began to focus on rebuilding his relationship with Amaka. He apologized repeatedly, not just in words but in actions, showing her the love and attention he had once reserved for his business and Nnenna. Amaka, though hurt, chose to forgive him. "You are my husband," she said. "I stood by you when we had nothing. I will stand by you now too." Their bond slowly began to mend, though the shadow of their loss lingered over them. Chukwudi decided to channel his grief into helping others. He began investing in his village, using his wealth to build schools, improve the roads, and support struggling farmers. The villagers, initially skeptical, saw his sincerity and began to accept him once more. "Perhaps he has learned from his mistakes," they said. Amaka became a symbol of resilience in the community, and many women looked up to her for her strength and grace. Together, she and Chukwudi worked to create a legacy that honored Chibuzo's memory. With time, Chukwudi and Amaka found a new rhythm. They planted fresh crops on the farm and started a small business together. Though life would never be the same, they chose to focus on the blessings they still had. Chukwudi often spoke of Chibuzo, ensuring his son's memory remained alive. "He was taken too soon, but he will never be forgotten," he told Amaka during their evening prayers. Amaka nodded, her heart swelling with a bittersweet mix of pain and gratitude. Chukwudi, once skeptical of divine intervention, began attending church regularly with Amaka. He found solace in prayer, seeking guidance as he navigated his grief and guilt. The church community embraced him, offering support and encouragement. Amaka, who had always leaned on her faith, was grateful for the spiritual growth she saw in her husband. Their shared faith became a cornerstone of their healing, drawing them closer together and giving them hope for the future. Months after their reconciliation, Amaka discovered she was pregnant. The news brought a mixture of joy and fear. "Can we handle this after all we've been through?" she asked Chukwudi. Chukwudi held her close, tears in his eyes. "This child is a blessing," he said, "a second chance for us to build the family we dreamed of." The pregnancy became a source of renewed hope for the couple, giving them something to look forward to amid their pain. Amaka gave birth to a healthy baby girl, whom they named Chinyere, meaning God's gift. Her arrival brought light back into their lives, filling their home with laughter and joy. Chukwudi was a devoted father, showering Chinyere with love and vowing to protect her at all costs. For Amaka, motherhood brought healing, helping her to move forward while keeping Chibuzo's memory alive in her heart. The villagers celebrated with them, seeing Chinyere as a symbol of new beginnings. As Chinyere grew, Chukwudi and Amaka dedicated themselves to raising her with love and wisdom. They taught her the values of humility, forgiveness, and resilience, drawing from their own experiences. Chukwudi continued his philanthropic work, ensuring that his wealth was used to uplift others. Amaka, ever the pillar of strength, became a mentor to young women in the community, sharing her story to inspire hope. Though the scars of their past remained, Chukwudi and Amaka found peace in their new life, grateful for the second chances they had been given. Chinyere's laughter echoed through the home, a sweet reminder of the joy that had returned to Chukwudi and Amaka's lives. Her first steps were met with cheers, and Chukwudi's eyes filled with tears as he scooped her up in his arms. "You are our miracle," he whispered, holding her close. Amaka smiled, watching her husband bond with their daughter. Though she missed Chibuzo every day, Chinyere's presence was a balm for her wounded heart. Together, they celebrated each milestone, cherishing every moment as a family. As Chinyere grew, Chukwudi and Amaka shared stories of their struggles, ensuring she understood the value of resilience and hard work. "Life isn't always easy," Amaka told her, "but with faith and determination, you can overcome anything." Chukwudi, too, instilled the importance of humility and gratitude. He often took Chinyere to the village, showing her the farm where he and Amaka had once toiled. "Never forget where you come from," he advised. Their teachings shaped Chinyere into a kind and thoughtful child, much to their pride. Despite their happiness, whispers of the past occasionally resurfaced. Villagers would mention Nnenna's actions in hushed tones, casting a shadow over Chukwudi's reputation. Amaka, however, refused to let the past define them. "We cannot control what others say," she told Chukwudi, "but we can control how we live our lives." Her strength inspired Chukwudi to focus on the present, reminding him that their journey was a testament to endurance and forgiveness. Chinyere's energy filled their home, and Chukwudi and Amaka began to consider expanding their family once more. Though the pain of losing Chibuzo remained, they found solace in the possibility of giving Chinyere siblings to grow up with. Their discussions brought them closer, reigniting the deep bond they had shared during their early years of marriage. Amaka's second pregnancy was met with complications, testing their faith once again. Nights were spent in prayer, with Chukwudi refusing to leave her side. "This child will be fine," he reassured her, though fear lingered in his heart. The community rallied around them, offering prayers and support. The experience reminded them of the strength that came from unity and faith, further deepening their gratitude for life's blessings. Despite the challenges, Amaka gave birth to a baby boy, whom they named Chibueze, meaning God is King. His arrival brought immense joy, and Chukwudi felt a renewed sense of purpose as a father. Holding Chibueze in his arms, Chukwudi vowed to cherish every moment with his family. "I will not take these blessings for granted," he promised Amaka. Their home became a haven of love and laughter, filled with the sound of children playing and the warmth of shared dreams. With 2 children to care for, Chukwudi and Amaka found themselves working as a team more than ever. They divided responsibilities and supported each other, strengthening their partnership. Chinyere adored her baby brother, often singing lullabies to him under Amaka's watchful eye. Chukwudi, too, reveled in fatherhood, making time for his family despite his busy schedule. Their unity inspired others in the community, who admired their resilience and dedication to one another. One evening, a visitor from the city arrived unannounced, a relative of Nnenna's who had heard of Chukwudi's newfound happiness. "I came to make peace," the woman said, her voice tinged with guilt. "Nnenna's actions were wrong, and I regret not intervening." Though the encounter brought painful memories to the surface, Chukwudi and Amaka chose forgiveness once again. "Holding on to anger will only hurt us more," Amaka said. Their decision to forgive strengthened their resolve to move forward with grace. Chukwudi decided to share his story publicly, hoping to inspire others. He spoke at community gatherings and schools, recounting his journey from poverty to success, from heartbreak to healing. "Life will test you," he told his audience, "but every challenge is an opportunity to grow. Choose love, choose forgiveness, and never lose faith." His words resonated deeply, earning him respect and admiration. For Chukwudi, sharing his story was both cathartic and meaningful, a way to honor Chibuzo's memory while embracing the future. On their 20th wedding anniversary, Chukwudi organized a celebration to honor Amaka. The event was attended by villagers, friends, and family, all eager to celebrate the couple's enduring love. Amaka, dressed in a vibrant wrapper, radiated joy as she stood by her husband's side. "You are my rock," Chukwudi said during his speech, his voice thick with emotion. "Through every storm, you've been my anchor. I am forever grateful." The celebration was a testament to their resilience and a reminder of the power of love, forgiveness, and faith.